Hello students, let us continue with chapter 4 in my last video, in the first video of this chapter. So as we have seen that this story is about a person who was in business of making locks and keys. His name was Horace Danby. The narrator tells us, so he was honest, but he was not complete honest. He used to commit theft once in a year, and with the money he used to buy rare and expensive books. So this time he had planned to rob shoot over grains. Okay, so he had examined the house very well. He had been studying about the house since last a few days. Okay, so now he had all the information, and he is going to rob the house. He knows about the wiring, he knows about the servants, he knows about the owner of the house, that they had gone to London. So on that day when the servants had gone to watch movie, he decided to rob the house. Okay, so what happened the next in the story, let us and come to know. So let me explain from this paragraph. So when he was committing the thief, then he heard a voice from the doorway. Then suddenly he heard a voice from the doorway. What is it? A cold or hay fever? The voice said, what is it? Whether it is cold or hay fever? Before he could think, Horace said, hay fever. So Horace could think anything, he said it was hay fever. So and found himself sneezing again, as he was suffering with hay fever. So he sneezed once again. The voice went on. So that voice continued, you can cure it with a special treatment. So the voice said that you can cure that hay fever with a special treatment. If you find out just what plant gives you the disease. Further, the voice said, if you know that you have allergy with what plant, then you can give a cure to this disease. I think you had better to see a doctor. Further, the voice added that he had better to see a doctor if you are serious about your work. So further, the voice added that if he was serious about his work, then he should consult to a doctor for the same. I heard you from the top of the house just now. So further, the voice said that I heard you from the top of the house just now. So let us discuss the questions which were answers to the questions which were asked in the beginning. So what was the questions? Then we will continue reading this chapter. So what were two questions? What does Horace Danby like to collect? So I hope you people must have got your answer. Yes, to collect old, expensive and rare books. Third one, what does he steal? Why does he steal every year? So why does he steal every year? So you people have got the answer. So he used to steal every year in a very systematic and planned manner. He used to steal enough to last him for 12 months, and so that he could buy the rare and expensive books that he used to like through a secret agent. Okay, so it was The reason, because of that he used to steal every year. So now let us go through two more questions, answer to which we will try to find out in the next paragraphs. Who is speaking to Horace Danby? Yes, this is very important question, as we have got to know that it was a voice, but whose voice it is? Yes, so this is the very important thing to know, whose voice it was. Okay, so who was talking to Horace Danby? So this is the first question, and the second question is, who is the real culprit in the story? Yes, this question also is very interesting. Okay, so now let's start from here. It was a quiet, kindly voice. It was a quiet, kindly voice, but one with firmness in it. So narrator further says it was a quiet, kindly voice, but one with firmness in it, but it was also firm, kind as well as firm voice. A woman was standing in the doorway. So whose voice it was? It was a woman's voice. A woman was talking to him. A woman was standing in the doorway, and Sherry was rubbing against her, and Sherry the dog was rubbing himself against the lady, against the woman. She was young, quite pretty. So the woman was young and quite pretty, and was dressed in red, and she was putting on red dress. She walked to the fireplace and straightened the ornaments there, and she went straight to the through the fireplace, and then to the ornaments, jewelry. Down, Sherry, he said. Anyone would think I had been away for a month. Further, the lady added that, down, Sherry. Anyone would think she had been away for a month. She smiled at Horace and went on. She smiled at Horace and continued, however, I came back just in time, though I didn't expect to meet a burglar. So further she said that to her dog, anyone would think that she had been away for a month, but she came back in time, and she was not expecting to meet a burglar. Horace had some hope, because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. Horace had some hope, because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. So now when the lady caught Horace red-handed, so now even though Horace had some hope for saving himself, for escaping, as the lady seemed to be amused when she met him. In the beginning, the lady was happy, she was amused. So that is why Horace thought that he had a chance to escape. He might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. So he thought that he would avoid trouble, he may avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. In a right way, if Horace Danby would treat the lady, then he can save himself from police. He replied, I didn't expect to meet one of the family. So Horace Danby also replied, he also had not expected to meet any family member. She nodded. She moved her head. I see. What an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. So the lady said, I can understand I can see what type of inconvenience you are facing after meeting me. What are you going to do? Further, she asked what Horace Denby was going to do. Horace said, my first thought was to run. Horace replied that his first thought was to run. Of course, you could do that. So further, the lady said, of course you can run away, you could do that. But I would telephone the police and tell them all about you, and they would get you at once. Further, the lady says, if you would run away, then she would telephone the police and tell them all about Horace Denby. So then the police get him at once. The lady scolded Horace Denby that if Horace Denby would try to run away, she would call the police. Horace said, I would, of course, cut the telephone wires first, and then he hesitated, a smile on his face. So Horace said, I would of course cut the telephone wires. So you cannot call the police because I have already cut the telephone wires. Okay, then he hesitated, but even though a smile on his face, I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. I would make sure. Further, he said that he would make sure that he could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough, and a few hours for him would be enough to run away. She looked at him seriously. You had hurt me. So further, the lady looked at him seriously and said, you had hurt me. Horace paused and then said, I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that. Further, Horace said, I thought, so when I said that, I was frightening you. You didn't frighten me. So further, you didn't frighten me. Horace suggested, it would be nice if you would forget you ever saw me. So further, Horace said that it would be better for you, it would be nice if you would forget that you have seen me. Let me go and let me go. The voice was suddenly sharp. So the voice of the lady had become suddenly sharp. Why should I? So why should I let you go? You were going to rob me. You were going to rob my house, and I should let you go. If I let you go, you will only rob someone else. So further, the lady added that if she let him go, then he would only rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you. Further, she said that the society must be protected from the men like Horace Denby. Horace smiled. I'm not a man who threatens society. And further, he said that he was not a man who threatens society. I steal only from those who have a lot of money. And further, he added that he used to steal only from those who had a lot of money. I steal for a very good reason. So further, he added that he used to steal for a very good reason, and I hate the thought of prison. And he said he did not want to be imprisoned, as he hated the thought of prison. Okay. She laughed and he begged. So the lady laughed and Horace begged. Horace was begging, thinking that he had persuaded her, and Horace was thinking that he had persuaded, he has induced the lady. Okay, he had taken the lady in his confidence. Okay, persuaded her. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. So look, further he said, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am in desperate. I am here disappointed. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. He begged her to let him go, and further he promised he would never do that kind of thing again. I really mean it. Okay, so he promised not to do such kind of act again. So that is why he begged the lady, that lady should let him go. She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" So he said, she was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" So she confirmed whether he really afraid of going to prison. She came over to him, shaking her head. So she came close to Horace by shaking her head. I have always liked the wrong kind of people. So then she said that she had always liked the wrong kind of people. She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. So she picked up a silver box from the table and took out a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him. So Horace was, he was eager to please the lady and wanted to get help, and she thought that she might help him. So took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter. So when the lady take out cigarette, so in order to please her, Horace Denby take off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter. You will let me go. And further he said she will let him go. He held the lighter towards her, and he was holding the lighter towards her. Yes, but only if you will do something for me. So further she said yes, she would let him go, but provided that he would do something for her. If he would do something for her, then she would let him go. Anything you say. So Horace said, so he would do anything what she would say. Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank, but I left them here in the safe. So the lady said, so before they had left for London, she promised her husband to take her jewels into their bank, but she left them there in the safe. So I want to wear them to a party tonight. Further she added that she wanted to wear those jewelries as she had to go to a party that night. So I came down to get them, but so further she said she had come down to get those jewelries, but she could not complete the sentence. Horace jumped into, means Horace poked his nose, and he completed her sentence by saying that you have forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you? So Horace completed her sentence by saying that she hadn't forgotten the numbers to open the safe. Yes, replied the young lady. So the young lady replied in affirmative. She said yes, she had forgotten the numbers. So just leave it to me and you will have them within an hour. So further Horace Denby told her that so just leave it to him and she will have those jewelries within an hour, but I will have to break your safe. So further Horace Denby added that he will have to open her break her safe. Don't worry about that. So she further added that so he need not worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month and I will have the safe mended by that time. So further the lady added that her husband won't be there for a month. Until then she will have the safe mended. She will get the safe repaired by that time. By the time her husband would come back. And within an hour Horace had opened the safe. So within an hour Horace promised that he would open the safe in an hour. So within an hour Horace had opened the safe. So given her the jewels and given her the jewelry and gone happily away. And as he was not handed over to the police, so that is why he was very happy and he had gone happily away. For 2 days he kept his promise to the kind young lady. So for 2 days Horace Denby had kept his promise to the kind young lady. On the morning of the third day, however, he thought of the books he wanted and he knew he would have to look for another safe. So on the morning of the third day, so he could not control his desire. On the morning of for 2 days he kept his promise, but on the third morning, on the morning of the third day, he thought of books he wanted and he knew he would have to look for another safe, and now he was planning to break the another safe, okay, to rob the another safe. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. But he had never got the chance to begin his plan to rob another safe. So by noon, a policeman had arrested him for a jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. So by noon, a policeman had arrested him for a jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. He was arrested by a policeman because of robbery at the Shotover Grange. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, as the lady introduced her as the owner of the house, mistress of the house. So that is why Horace Denby opened the door without wearing the gloves. So that is why his fingerprints were found there, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner was the house had asked him to open the safe for her. So no one could believe when he said the wife of the owner's house told him to break the safe. No one believed on it. Okay, and he was arrested by the police as his fingerprints were found on each and everything in the house. The wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, and the owner's house was herself a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60 years. But the lady who betrayed him, who cheated him, who introduced herself as a owner, as a wife of the owner of that house, so she was a young and pretty woman, but the real owner of the house was of 60. So it means the lady who betrayed him, who fooled him, she was not the wife of the owners, the wife of the owner of that house. She was also another thief. Okay, so said that the story was nonsense, and the lady who was of 60 years, the owner's wife, he said that the story was nonsense and I had not told her to open any safe. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. Now Horace is an assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was and who tricked him. So now Horace Danby was in the prison library, and who always kept thinking about that charming, that very pleasant, or that very attractive lady who was also in the same profession, she was also a thief, she was also a robber who fooled Horace Danby as introducing herself owner of the house. She was not owner of the house, she was another thief, she was also a robber. Okay, and she had also went there for the purpose of robbery. She took advantage of Horace Danby and fooled him and got him arrested. So he gets very angry, so when anyone talks about honor among thieves, so now Horace Danby gets very much angry if anyone talks about honor among thieves, as he was betrayed by the lady. So now he cannot believe that there is honor among thieves. So in this beautiful story, so as we have seen that how a thief betrays another thief, okay, and by fooling him got him arrested, okay, and he very easily believed that she was the owner of the house, but she was not owner of the house, she was another thief. Okay, and very cleverly she made the that businessman, that 50-year-old businessman Horace Danby, believed that she was the wife of the owner of the house, and so she made him break the safe, and he broke the safe and gave her the jewelry, and finally he got arrested. And he kept thinking about that charming lady. And also, if anyone talks about honor among thieves, then he gets very angry, because he have seen that example that there is no honor among thieves. Okay, so it is very interesting story written by Victor Canning. So now it's all about the chapter. In my next video I will once again summarize the whole story, and I will discuss answers to all the questions and other exercises of the chapter. So thank you for watching the video.